The loss of interest is probably the worst thing that could happen if you want to get back with an ex. I'm going to explain you the few things you need to know in order to assess the situation, because there's a possibility that yes, your relationship is over and you need to find ways to move on and to detach from this relationship. Other cases, you have a chance. Not necessarily a tiny chance, you have a chance if you do the right things, and I'll explain you how to rebuild that interest. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
igetmyexback.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So if we look at, from a psychological point of view, broadly speaking, losing interest in people, so could be a sign of depression. You know, when you are stuck in a rut, for example, sometimes we lose interest and we detach from our partner because we are scared to get hurt, because they're not sure, because they want to detach, they want to feel alone. Sometimes it's about the fear of commitment. If your ex was an avoidant and they create this narrative in their head that you're not interesting anymore, that they will find other partners more attractive, more interesting, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's generally speaking the losing interest in people. The case number one, quite a common case, he or she's not into you. The realization, it happens, I'm sure it happened to you in the past, it happened to me, it happened to most people who are in their 30s, who dated more than one person. You just realize that, that's not the right person. Different values, different goals. This, you try a few dates and it doesn't work. There's a key time frame that you need to consider is the honeymoon phase, which is between up to 12 months. But it's really when everything is amazing with your partner. We are the best version of ourselves. We have a very, very high interest in the other because everything is new. We discover new things. And there's always this element of shifting from this passion to compassionate love. And there's a lot of breakups happening there, because that's when you realize that the person that you're dating that is giving you so much pleasure is not necessarily giving you joy and giving you happiness, because it's different, right? So the idea here is to really assess this, and we'll discuss how to assess this in a minute. Case number two, the outcome of an ongoing process. So that loss of interest is something that brewed over weeks and months. An event, sometimes when I discuss with my clients, you'll find an event, a triggering event. However, there was just one event that triggered the whole series of resentments. In French we said the drop of water that made the vase fall apart. So when compromise is not acceptable anymore, against their own needs, against their boundaries. And we'll discuss about that. It's really about, I've tried, I've had enough, and I gave you chances. That's a problem you might have right now, is that your ex is thinking, I gave you so many opportunities to fix it, and you didn't do it. So how can we reverse this? Is this the end? Case number one, yes. And that's probably for the best. Case number one is the honeymoon phase. You're just not into, your ex is just not into you. The thing is, it's quite unlikely you will get them back, as I discussed. Going no contact will test their appetite for the relationship. Will it make them go back with you? I don't know. I don't think so. There's some cases where the fear of commitment may have pushed them away. Very common amongst dismissive avoidance. The thing is, what you have to understand, do you want to be with someone who is indecisive? So if you are with someone who gets back with you when you push him away, think about how you can sustain a relationship, how you can build something strong, something healthy, if you always have this push and pull dynamic. It's not going to work, it's not secure, it's not healthy, it's not what you want. You want to be with someone who knows what they want, who appreciate you for who you are, and who are willing to accept this and go for it. and are not just driven by the fact that you might be gone. Okay, it's very easy sometimes to get someone back because you tap to their ego and their fear of missing out. However, and sometimes I tell my clients, we can get him back quickly. We can get him back very easily. I don't think that's the right person for you. So sometimes they convince me to try. They try and they realize I was right. So it's really about assessing their interest, but at the deeper level, not just pleasure. Second case, it's often, when you look at the history of breakups, it's often a phase. So if you look at when people get divorced, I wanted to have some data to back this. After year 1 or 2 of marriage, and after year 5 or 8 of marriage, people tend to divorce. The explanation of the year 1 and 2 is the clash of expectations. You get married, you have plans for your life, kids, lifestyle, the pressure from the family to get married, and once you're married, sometimes people get married thinking like, yeah, it's just that I needed that commitment from my partner to feel loved, but it didn't really address the problem, right? It didn't really help you figure out what you want, really, and the same for them. And so it's very common to see people getting divorced after 1 year or 2 of marriage. 5 and 8 is mostly, and it's a quote from that study, the loss of interest in monogamous relationship. There's a famous movie, The 7 Year Itch, with Marilyn Monroe, where it's clear that at some stage, the same way you would the amplification of the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase is about high dopamine, highly dopamine driven, high intensity, lots of passion. Then you transition to compassionate love. But in compassionate love, when you get married, you have projects, you have kids, you buy a house, so there's a lot of novelty. But after 5 or 8 years, you get this relationship fatigue, right? You are sleeping with the same person you're sleeping with only the same person. Your life seems like boring. And it's very easy to fall into the idea that you lose interest in your partner because your partner becomes a roommate, and you're probably watching this video thinking, yeah, that's how I felt, that's how we felt towards the end of our relationship. We were just flatmates, we were just roommates. We didn't have this spark anymore. The idea of this video is to explain you how you can really reignite that spark. Let's reverse engineering this. What led you to this breakup? Main problem, number one problem, you can look online, you can Google. Problem number one with a relationship is communication. 3 types of problem. The things you didn't express, the thing that they didn't express, and the way you handle fight. So it's very, when you do relationship counseling with couples, it's really about how you can create a space where everyone can talk. I use, for example, non-violent communication principles with my clients. It's really about how you can express your needs in a safe way, not threatening the other, not judging the other, and also understand how you can handle fights. Fights are healthy. The problem with fight is when there's no outcome, when there's no resolution, and you just sweep the dust underneath the carpet. The idea of a fight is how you can discuss things, debate things. We shouldn't call this fight, actually. When you have a debate with your spouse, it should be healthy. Like any democracy, right? It should be healthy to have a debate. You have rules to have a healthy debate, same as in politics, and it's the same in relationship. There's also the attachment clash, and there's this quote from John Bowlby, who's the psychiatrist who developed the attachment principle. He should actually be as famous as Freud. I don't know why he's not that famous. We are as needy as our unmet needs. And it's really the expression of, in a relationship, there's always this on and off, there's always this dance, right? And sometimes we feel that our partner doesn't understand our needs. Sometimes people feel, I shouldn't tell him, I shouldn't micromanage him, he should understand this. I shouldn't tell him that, it's normal to be together, it's normal to see each other. Or Sometimes it's hard just to communicate that, I need to be speaking with you regularly. We are scared, and when we express our needs, the other might feel threatened. So it's very important for you to understand this concept as well, which is linked to attachment styles. The thing is, loss of interest, it's probably too late. You've missed, as I discussed, a lot of opportunities to communicate your needs and to understand your ex's needs. You went beyond a breakup point. Trying to address this will make things worse. You've probably had months to address this. Your ex probably gave you internally in their head an ultimatum, if you think about that. And if you're realistic, sometimes people sort of deny that there was something wrong in the relationship. They didn't do anything to address it, but now it's too late. This relationship is dead. The story with your ex, not necessarily, but this relationship is dead. And what your ex needs is to be on their own. To be on their own to reflect on things. To be on their own to also live the life that they have dreamed, probably, that they are making the assumption that they'll be happier without you. Things will be easier without you. Most people get it wrong. We tend to underestimate the complexity and the difficulty of being alone, even if we make the decision to end the relationship. And this is with relationship, strong relationship, mutual, when love is mutual, when it's strong, when you have strong foundation, when each other has been right to the other. If you're not sure about this, there's a quiz as well, I forgot to mention, if you want to assess the strengths of your relationship and whether you fall into the case 1 or case 2. And the link is in the description, it's totally free. Now it's time to act. It's too late, but it's time to act. There are things you can control. Their decision, they made that decision, you probably try to talk them out of the decision. You can't control this. You can't control what they're going to answer when you message them. You can't control what they want to do, the people they want to meet, okay? What you have to do is to optimize what you can change. Getting back with someone assumes that you're going to change, you're going to do some work. And that's what your ex wants. She or he wanted that before the breakup. She or he perhaps expressed that during the breakup. Now maybe, or perhaps they didn't express it and now you understand what they were after. Because you watched videos like mine and you know, but I don't know, maybe they were avoidant and you didn't understand that you triggered their avoidance side. Think of it as a plan. Think of it as the project of your life. Lay down your strategy, what you should be doing, what you should be changing, the resources you need, the people you need with in order to achieve your goal. Find the right allies, like any plan. Find who would be in your team, friends, family, therapists. This is your chance. And it's the only chance for you to recover this relationship. If this relationship was important, if this relationship mattered to you, you have to fight for it. You have to fight for this person. Actually, I said this relationship is dead. If this person matters, you should fight for it. You're looking after you're basically fighting for the person, not the relationship. And rebuilding attraction comes from you have the potential. So it's very easy for me to help you because you've been together. I have a very hard time to coach people to date randomly on Tinder or Bumble because I don't know how you could attract someone. There's no magic formula. With an ex, they had sex with you, they had this intimacy with you, they told you I love you. So it's doable. You have the potential and stop thinking that you don't have the potential. What you have to create in order to build a little bit of attraction is some mystery. Not being around 24/7, not texting them 24/7. They should be, wondering what you're up to. There's also an element of, surprising yourself. It's a bit of pity, but a lot of people, they start working on themselves on the back of a breakup. Well, okay, fair enough, but so do it. It's your decision to make this breakup as something that will be positive, that will have a positive impact on your life, or that's something who would be a negative impact in your life. And when you do this work, when you learn about those things, you create not only an image, but you radiate a bit of positivity, and positivity attracts positivity. When your ex will see you, when your ex will hear what you're doing, when they'll see pictures of you on social media, for example, they're going to feel this nostalgia of those times together. They're going to start to regret their decision. And when someone regrets their decision, well, you have this desire. Because again, you've been together, you've been in love, right? And this is what you have to create if you want to reverse this dynamic of when there's a loss of interest. Of course, rebuilding attraction is slightly more complex than 8 bullet points. It requires a lot of tiny actions, a lot of work at challenging your thoughts, a lot of work at finding the right strategies that would work for you to feel less anxious, to feel more confident. If you need any help in doing so, you can have a look in the description. I have a few links, either to have a call with me or with one of the members of my team. And if you have any other questions, want to get in touch with me, have a look in the comment section. I love to hear your comments. And don't hesitate to like as well as subscribe. I always forget to say that. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
For a long time, get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.